Hey guys, this is Kyle from Kyle and Court, coming here to talk to you today about something a little different, something we've never done before. So the other day, a company reached out to Courtney because we have kids and a social media account and said, hey, would you like to review our educational app? And Courtney and I have talked before about finding apps for the kids, how hard is it to do, just going back and forth trying to find apps that are good for our kids for the screen time we give them, not just junky apps. And so she mentioned it to me, and I said, oh, I'll review it. I said, I'll love to look at an app that's actually, educational and is a good value. This is my cup of tea right here. It's kind of the filter between, the apps that are out there and like, is this an app good for our kids or not? And I was going to do it, whether we do this video or not. So the name of the app is Migalolo, an ocean musical. And they pitch it as an ebook. It's available for iOS and Android, and it is free, which is very nice. And you get a lot of content. We'll get into that a little bit. But the key thing for me was that they pitched it as an ebook, but that's kind of a misnomer. So I want to start off like with that. It's really more of like an interactive, sort of interactive story / musical, as the title per se, but it kind of almost plays like a movie. So it's really cool actually because you can download it, so it's available offline. You don't have to be connected to the internet to watch this. But like I said, it's an ocean musical, and so the basic storyline is there's a boy and he has a cat, and he doesn't really like school. He's not really he's moved around a lot, and he doesn't really get close to people, doesn't have a lot of friends, but he really loves the ocean. And he stays home, pretends to be sick one day, stays home from school, gets visited by a magical sea fairy, and gets turned into a dolphin along with his cat. So as you can tell, it's a little bit of fantasy. It's for kids. It's very quirky, I guess is the way I'd say. It's very fun and kind of weird, but in a good way for kids. Kids go with it. Kids are like, oh, of course, that just happens all the time. And anyway, the basic way the app works is it's divided up into chapters. And each chapter has a pretty similar structure in that you hit play. There's someone who talks, usually some dialogue going on, and then there's a song, and then maybe a little more dialogue, and that's pretty much it. And it's really nice actually because the app has a lot of functionality that's kind of built around this whole watch a chapter, leave the app, and come back sort of thing. So it has a index feature, so you can jump to your kids' favorite chapters. And there were definitely some chapters that Sophie liked better than others, so it was nice to be able to just go right back to those chapters. It has a bookmark feature, so if your kid's watching in the middle of something or you get 5 minutes and they don't quite get to the end of an app, you can hit the bookmark button and then go in later the next day or later that evening, turn it back on, starts right back up again. It's a very cool feature. And the app in general, like I said, as it ends each chapter, it offers you an option to go next chapter, or quit. So it kind of breaks it up. It doesn't feel like you have to go through this whole thing, and at the same time it feels like each chapter has been kind of developed, not independently, but kind of whole, like if this is one whole chapter like in a book. It reads more like a chapter book than like, where you have to like turn to see what's next. This ends, the next thing happens. Production qualities are pretty good. It's not quite animated. It's more like that moving pictures kind of thing you see in apps. One complaint I do have is that it's not exactly interactive. Kids really like that with their apps these days. But I will say, like, it's really well done. It's very high quality. The music is pop and R&B. It's very fun for kids. Kids loved it. Grayson was singing along to it. Sophie definitely went back to play one song again. She liked it so much. The songs have catchy choruses, and it's very kind of, it's very kid oriented, and they loved it. So that's what counts. And then the other part is, like I said, it's an ocean musical, and so you might think like, oh, this isn't very, you mentioned dolphins and fantasy and sea fairies and stuff, and it's really actually, I would say it's actually leans a little more educational than I would have thought. I would think it's kind of a little bit this, a little teeny tiny like, oh, let's save the ocean. But no, it's actually a lot about biodiversity and coral reefs and ecosystems underneath and different types of fish, just all kinds of things that are in it that actually, I would say like they're above her, but that's really good. Like it's not, they don't push it down, it's not way up there, it's something that she can stretch to. So actually I found that really cool. And at the same time, I thought the app was actually maybe even better geared towards like maybe a 3, 4, 5-year-old, because what I thought the most powerful and the coolest part of the app was it just kind of opened up this world of like, I know specifically about the ocean, but just that there's this whole world out there outside of your house, outside of your city, outside of your school and your kids and your friends and your parents, that you could take an interest in. So I mean, this is the story of a boy. He's not he's not a career scientist or anything like that, who's just really into the ocean. He reads books about them. He wants to visit it. That's when the sea fairy comes. He makes his wish to go be in the ocean, and then he goes and learns all about it. And I think just like that as like a powerful kind of message for your kids about doing something kind of interesting, and taking your passions and going and doing it, and just getting into a world and getting technical with it, I guess, even, but in that real positive, like, I want to learn way. It was really cool. The other thing that Sophie and I really liked, we thought was really cool, so like I said, his cat turned into a dolphin with him, and she can talk when she turns into a dolphin, and it's just really cool because there's a boy and a girl, main characters. They kind of share billing almost. I don't know, it was very kind of nice for Sophie to have two characters. They're not just like, the cat's not just a follower. We kind of like that. It's a nice touch in apps that sometimes you see, like, it's always just one character, whether it's a boy or a girl. So this was nice. It was a little both, a little back and forth. It was really fun. One other thing, I kind of mentioned it earlier, they give you a lot of content. It's 90 minutes of content. So the chapters, I don't know exactly how many there are, but there's roughly a dozen or so. And they're all, you get a lot of content. You can, like I said earlier, you can break it up, but it would be a nice ride for, an app for a car ride or something where you need 20 minutes, quiet time. You can turn it on, and like I said, the app's not super interactive, and while it's kind of maybe a negative to the kids a little, they like that, but it's a positive for you as a grown-up, and then also them a little as a kid, and then it's real easy to navigate and just kind of walks them through. There's no puzzles, there's no kind of like, hey dad, I don't even know what button to push here. It's very kind of like, set it and forget it with the kids, which is very, very good. So anyway, like I said, the app is free. There's some in-app purchases and stuff like that, but we enjoyed the content we had. We're gonna break it up and start doing them like kind of once a week and just go over them and just talk about them for 5 minutes, and that's that. And I think that's pretty much all you can ask for an app for a 5-year-old, to teach them a little bit more about the ocean, teach them a little bit more about other things. They have another app about the jungle, so they seem to be kind of maybe environmentally, centric app development company. Sophie showed interest in that, so maybe we'll be doing 2 apps, 5 minutes this one, 5 minutes that one. Anyway, it seemed really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. I'm going to be maybe doing a couple more app reviews for kids. We've definitely found some apps that work and apps that don't for the kids. And I'd love to share them with y'all. The links below for downloading the app, either in iOS and Android. Leave comments below about anything, if you've used the app or haven't used the app, or if you have any questions or anything like that as well. So one thing that I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, but I could go into, is that the app is actually geared for definitely an older kid, like first, second, third grader. It kind of assumes they can read pretty well. There's a read along portion to it, but it goes by pretty fast, too fast for Sophie, kind of in her early days of reading. But definitely the kids, she can follow along, and of course it's all dialogue. You can listen to it and everything like that. The concepts are still there. She'll grow with it, grow into it. It's been one of those kind of books that maybe she kind of learns to read by memorizing. It helps with that. Helps them speed up the reading. I think that's one of the things you can do to challenge your kid is give them something that says it does kind of move a little fast, and read to keep up is an excellent way to make your kid sink or swim, no pun intended. I hope you guys enjoyed this app review. I hope you guys take time to look at the app, choose it or not. Like I said, it's free, so give it a shot. If you guys have any other apps you want me to review or anything like that, or types of apps or anything, let me know. And otherwise, we'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night.